And here we go. Digital Adele back with another Digital Adele Hoops Beyond the Backboard podcast for you with my co host, Matt Hanifan. How are you doing today, Matt?
5 days away. Actually, no, 4 days away. We are 4 days away from the start
We're
of the regular
so
season.
close to real
So
basketball.
close. Next time you listen to us, it'll be the day of.
That's
Or, I mean,
right.
maybe you listen to us the next day or the day after or whatever. But the next time you'll hear from us, um, Tuesday, October 21st. There you go.
On your way to work or on your way back from work. Who knows? But I'm excited. Even college basketball has some exhibition games that they've started.
Yeah, Nevada has theirs. I think their first one's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then they play one the 25th, which I don't know if I'll be able to actually go to that one. The first one's like in Utah. I'll try to make the second one. It's against like Eastern Washington or something. Like it's not like it's so big, It's not like they're playing like Cal or something.
Are you saying that Nevada's not a big time program?
No, they are, but they're just playing. No, I'm just kidding.
And my camera's blurry again. It's just what happens on the show.
Thing again.
It's doing the thing. I don't understand it, but it's okay. It's back. I figured out how I can continually fix it. But anyway, we're here today to talk about 2025 NBA Draft Rookies Only Edition for the New Orleans Pelicans and Orlando Magic. The New Orleans Pelicans had a high draft pick in this draft, and that is, well, one higher than the other, right?
Yeah.
But it is pretty high. You're right. But the Pelicans drafted one, Jeremiah Fears. Fears has been very much talked about leading up to the draft. Everybody was talking about Jeremiah Fears. He's rising up draft boards. He's the point guard to take in this draft. If there's no other point guard to take Jeremiah Fears. Blah, blah, blah.
Outside
blah,
of Harper.
Well, that's a given. Outside, I mean, technically, the way Dallas is using Cooper Flagg, he's running point for them. It's like, is he a point guard? That goes back to Sean's conversation of meaningless positions and numbers, but I digress. What in the world is going on with my Google searches? It pulled up the 2024 draft class. I'm just sitting here. Why don't I see any of the names that I'm like my brain is set to scan for because of what we're looking for? None of them are on the list. I'm like, what is happening? And it was because I was on the 2024.
Zachary Reese-Shea, he's a rookie? No.
Yeah, that's literally, I was like, wait, why am I seeing Zachary Reese-Shea on this list? But anyway, I got the right list now. Pick number 7, Jeremiah Fears, the point guard out of Oklahoma. Dynamic, quick as a hiccup. What are your thoughts about Jeremiah Fears' fit with the New Orleans Pelicans?
He was good late in the season, or at least better late in the season. I know there was a point in time, anyone who listened to this show during the college basketball season this last year, we were not, I don't want to say out on Fears, but we were like, okay, he might need to return back to school. Like you see some of the flashes in terms of like the ball handling, the playmaking, the kind of wiggle that he had. But then it was like, okay, he wasn't finishing well at the rim. His pull-up jump shooting was bad. His defense was bad, even though there were some flashes with that. And then he kind of turned up, late in the SEC season. He was someone who, again, he reclassified. He was supposed to be a college freshman this upcoming season, but he reclassified for last season. And so obviously he was a younger, skinnier point guard who was still, acclimating himself to the college game. Puts together, a strong season down the stretch. Oklahoma makes the NCAA tournament. He starts rising up draft boards. And then, he gets drafted 7th overall. I still don't I don't love this fit for him. Like, I think for him, it's going to be, I think it's going to take maybe a year or two for him to really pop. Right. Obviously, again, it's the wiggle. It's the ball handling. There's some good playmaking stuff with him. Again, the finishing and jump shooting and whatnot, that's still a mixed bag, even though every once in a while there's flashes of it. It's nowhere near consistent, or at least nowhere near consistent to be functional on an NBA court. Right. He's going to have to get stronger. I think that's one of the first and foremost things. we'll talk about this, but I just don't like this Pelicans team really that much outside of a few players, and he's in
The makeup of it is bad. Like
right,
the sum of the parts doesn't fit together well.
right, and I think he plays into that a little bit. Like I don't expect a ton from him his rookie season, even though like DeJounte, I think it was an Achilles that he suffered last year.
It was an Achilles, yeah.
And so he's gonna be returning mid-season, probably after the new year, at least that's the last time I saw it was gonna be after the new year, it might be before then, but he's still gonna miss time at the start of the season, so perhaps Fears gets some opportunity,
Right.
and I think, for the Pelicans, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but they traded their pick, and so they're not really incentivized to lose, but, like, this should be a season where you're trying to develop some of these guys in addition to, continue to develop Trey Murphy, who's been awesome, Herb Jones,
He has been awesome.
so
Trey
on, so
Jones is really good too, man. Herb
right.
Jones. Everybody underestimates Herb, in my opinion. I think he's better than people give him credit for. He struggled with the three ball early in the preseason, but it's preseason. I think he'll work that
Yeah.
out. But Jeremiah Fears, I think is going to play more than we think. I think they really
Right.
like him in New Orleans. Uh, me personally, his jump shot, I'm not a fan of. The form needs a lot of work. His balance needs a lot of work. He's always fading away. He's always fading away. And so it's going to be really difficult for him to shoot a high quality percentage like that. The key is, can he lean into his facilitation? And if he does lean into his facilitation, can he score well enough at the rim that he stays a threat instead of people just fanning out and like letting him go one on one with the big?
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It remains to be seen. I like the pick. I like Jeremiah Fears.
Yeah. It's
It's
an
just
upside.
exactly there's going to be a lot. You're going to need to be patient, and you're going to have to let him grow.
My biggest worry with him as a rookie, and it's not necessarily him, it's who he's playing with in the sense that, like, I think as long as Zion is healthy, he's gonna be taking a lot of, on-ball reps.
Right.
Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, as long as those guys are healthy, they're gonna be having the ball a lot, and they're gonna rely on those guys, obviously, for good reason because all 3 of them, when they're on the court, are very good players in their own right.
Yeah,
For him, I just wonder how that's gonna affect him and how he plays because he's someone who needs the ball in his hand right now to be effective.
for
And that goes
sure.
back to your playmaking point, like, how functional is he gonna be off ball?
Yep,
And I just
that's
don't
true.
know if that's gonna be I don't know how that's gonna translate right now. Like, it obviously he can develop that over the course of his season, but at least at the start of the season without DeJounte, how is that gonna work? And I'm very interested to see, like, all right, how much do they delegate the responsibility toward him versus him sharing the court with those other guys? Because I imagine he's gonna share the court with at least 1 or 2 of them when he's on the floor at any given moment.
Definitely. Definitely. But I think there's a lot of pick and roll opportunities with that speed that he has that get out in the open court and run, obviously. Well, you got Zion you can do pick and roll with. You got Misi you can do pick and roll with.
Right.
Um, Herb, you can do some pick and pop, pick and roll, functional stuff with. So I think there's going to be some options for him to show and use what he already has to his advantage. But I think it's just going to be limited, and you're going to
Mhm.
have some patience with him for sure. But the Pelicans didn't stop there. They didn't just draft Jeremiah Fears. No. They traded with the Atlanta Hawks and they took Derek Queen. Now, this is baffling. This pick was absolutely baffling. You have Yves Misi, you signed Kevon Looney, you got Zion Williamson. Tell me why, Matt, the New Orleans Pelicans need Derek Queen?
There was a lot of smoke, if I can remember this correctly. There was a lot of smoke pre-draft about them loving Queen.
Apparently
It's
they
got to be
did.
because of the skill.
Yeah,
That's really all I can point to is the skill, his ability to handle with both hands, his ability to pass.
right.
Um, like those are his best traits as a player. Obviously, there's a lot wrong with him athletically. I'm still not a buyer in terms of the jump shot, the defense. He has like he's stuck in quicksand all the time.
Yep.
And so that's where it's just like I'm not there in terms of trading up, especially since they traded their 2026 unprotected pick,
Crazy.
which is still baffling. It's very a confusing process, some might say. Um, I don't this
The whole thing has me at a loss for words.
yeah,
Them
they just don't
drafting
fit in the
Queen,
front court.
them sending out an unprotected pick, it just doesn't make any sense. You've got Queen, you've got Misi. Can they play together? Probably not. You got Zion, you've got Queen. Can they play together? They can because Zion can handle, but then you lose shooting like all across the board. Like you have no shooting there either. And they occupy the dunker spot. And Queen isn't really a dunker. He'll lay it up.
No, no, definitely not a dunker.
He'll
Even
lay
at
it up.
6'9".
Right. Then you got Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
Can he play there, Queen? Probably not. I just don't like it. I don't see the fit. I didn't see the value. I just think it's a poor pick, poor selection. All around.
And it's a bummer because he only played 3 summer league games before undergoing surgery for a fractured wrist.
Right.
And so he's going to miss, I don't know if he's going to miss the start of the season, but he's been out for a while. And so he really hasn't been able to, or no, it was a torn ligament in his left wrist.
Mm.
And I want to say the initial timeline was a 12-week timeline, which is 3 months. And that was in mid-July. And so I'm guessing he might miss the start of the season. And
Probably.
so like that's unfortunate for him. And I just don't know, like he's someone who needs to get in NBA shape. And
that's another big thing.
Yeah.
Needs to get in NBA shape. That's another big thing. Really quick, because we are limited for time. We do have a hard out at 7:00. We're trying to make this a concise podcast today.
Even though I just won't shut up.
I mean, but that you are who you are, Matt. It's what you do. Micah Peavy is also on the New Orleans Pelicans. He was traded from the Wizards to the Pelicans, 40th overall pick. Micah Peavy is Thomas Sorber's teammate from Georgetown.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about him much. He's a two-way type of guard, though. He plays defense, can play some offense, doesn't do any of it like spectacularly, but he does a little bit of everything. So we're going to leave Micah Peavy there.
I think it could be a real rotation player at some point, though.
At some point, yeah, really there's something there. Yeah. But he does a little bit of everything, but nothing great, is the way I describe him.
Yeah, I would put his defense a little bit more like above his offense, but I think you're right.
For sure. He's got a leg up a little bit on the defensive side. Now, the Orlando Magic, very near and dear to Matt's heart. Why? He writes for On SI exclusively about the Orlando Magic.
Yes. No, yes.
So talk to me, Matt, about the Orlando Magic's Jace Richardson, who was picked by the Magic 25th to the shock of us on draft night. Talk to me about Jace. Talk to me a little bit about why you think he fell and what did the Magic get in Jace Richardson?
One pick after Neat Clifford. Let me just put that for the record straight.
Better player, Neat Clifford or Jace Richardson?
Hey, listen, both have had great preseasons, so I'll leave that up for the audience to decide.
So the answer is Jace Richardson. All right, let's go.
No, Jace has been so good this preseason. He's been someone who's impressed me so much. I know the numbers don't pop off the page. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1.5 assists. He's shooting 46% from the floor, but he's made 7 of his 10 threes. For me, I think there's a world where he is a rotation player day one just because of Jalen Suggs' injury, and like there still isn't a very clear. I mean, they wanted to bring him back opening night, but there still isn't like much. There isn't like a timetable in terms of like he may be back opening night, he may not be back opening night. Right. So I think there is a world where he could be a rotation player right away. He's been good enough this preseason to I think justify that. He just makes the right plays. That's what he did at Michigan State. That's why Tom Izzo trusted him the second half of the season. He's super efficient. He's not finishing poorly around the rim. That's something that I was keeping an eye on from him specifically. He's passing. I think like he's only has 4 assists, but I think he's still making the right decisions with the ball in his hands.
Right.
Defensively, he's competing. Like I think that's going to be something that's going to limit his ceiling, his upside as a rookie at least, is his defense. But like he's always going to be competitive on that end, as we talked about a lot pre-draft. He's just a good player. He's a smart player. He has 5 offensive rebounds. Like he's somewhat like in 3 games, and he's 6'1".
You just hit the nail on the head, and I was itching to jump in and talk about it. For a guy that's 6'1", 178 pounds, he rebounds the ball so well, and 46% is very good finishing at the rim around the basket for somebody that's 6'1", 178 pounds. And he's only going to get better as he gets stronger.
Yeah.
Used to the NBA game. I'm with you. I agree with everything you said so far. I really like what I've seen out of Jace Richardson, and he does something the Orlando Magic desperately need. Shoots that 3 ball, man, at a high percentage. So I know they have Desmond Bane. I know Franz has been working on his jump shot. But I think Jace can really give them some offensive pop from 3. And the fact that he's competitive defensively gives him the trust of the coaching staff to get himself onto the court to showcase that offensive prowess. And really, a lot of it's going to come off ball. A lot of it's going to be off Paulo and Franz's drive and kick, and they need that in the worst way. So I think you're on to something, Matt Hanifan. There's a reason you're writing for On SI with this guy. The Orlando Magic, do they have any other picks in this draft?
Noah Penda.
Noah Penda, that's right. I'm going to say this. I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. He looks like he's gotten bigger, and not in a good way, since he's come to the NBA. My man is huge. And I'll let you tell me what you think of him, because we only got a few minutes left. But to me, and I don't like comps, you know I hate comparisons, but he reminds me so much of a tankier, boxier Kyle Anderson is what he reminds me of. He's like just he's huge is the only way to put it. Needs to get in the NBA shape. Got to get on that diet, my man. But what are your thoughts on Noah Penda? People had him in the first round, man. People were going nuts. They were talking about Noah Penda. Got to get him in the first round. Noah Penda. I didn't see it. What are your thoughts?
I still think offensively speaking, there's plenty left to be desired, and I think over time he's going to have to be more comfortable on that end. That's where I think it's like sometimes it looks like they're playing 4-on-5.
Right.
Defensively, I've been very impressed.
Oh yeah.
Defensively and like on the glass as a rebound. Like to me, his best trait is his motor. And
which is confusing because he doesn't have the physique of high motor.
You're right, but like his motor being able to generate deflections, being active on the glass,
I get it.
Offensive glass, defensive glass.
Right.
I still don't know how much he plays as
a rookie.
I
don't think he plays at all unless there's like a horrific rash of front court injuries.
Exactly. That's essentially the Magic would have to undergo what happened last year with like Paulo missing a bunch of time, with I think it was an oblique, or a hip injury.
Mo Wagner.
Yeah, Mo Wagner's. I mean, he's still recovering from torn ACL. Franz Wagner's like De Silva played 70+ games last year.
Dude,
and I don't think many expected that as a rookie.
He's so good.
He is. I just don't know how much. Again, this is a team that's trying to win, and I just don't know how much of a role he'll play. Even though, like, I've been thoroughly impressed with him on one side of the ball.
Right.
Obviously, it's going to need to maturate itself into being both sides of the ball at some point for him to get a second contract and for him to have a real role on this team. But he's doing what they're asking him to do defensively, and that's, I think, all you can ask for right now.
My last question before we wrap this up. Defensively, Noah Penda, do you think he's a above average defender, like a good defender, or do you think his defense is just above what your expectations were for him?
I think a little bit of both, or in the more so, I think he can be an above average defender.
Okay, I'll take that.
But his defense has definitely been better than what I expected, for sure.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it showed up on his tape internationally. I did watch that. He was a pretty good defender. And he's smart, right? Like, he's very savvy. And like you said, he just has good hand placement, gets his hand on the ball, gets deflections, loose balls, rebounds. So I like what the Orlando Magic did in the draft. I like what the New Orleans Pelicans did in the first with their first pick, not with their second pick. But we'll
offense
be back.
Is still deer in the headlights a little bit.
Oh yeah, for Penda for sure.
Yeah,
he's not a clue yet, and his jump shot's not great. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Matt, tell the people where they can find you, follow, and get more of your work.
You can find me at mph_824_ on Twitter. You can find me at hot.hoops.com, mountainwestconnection.com. The college basketball season is going to be starting.
Let's go.
VendettaSportsMedia.com. I almost forgot what I was going to say. Playback.tv/digital Adel Hoops. Playback.tv/5RSN. And you could find me on SI writing for the Magic.
Absolutely. Follow him on SI. Big time Matt Hanifan. Thanks for being my co-host as always. I'm Digital Adel. Find me anywhere on social media under that moniker. The show is Digital Adel Hoops. We'll see you next time.